Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Hoping that you are fine. I'm good. It has taken a while since we last met live. Today, I want us to examine whether the Gen Z will support Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Bearing in mind, Fred Okengo Matiang'i is purely a product of the young people. But I have about 5 questions that we shall look at in the course of this analysis. And if you have your opinion, you are free to give your opinion in a free manner without fear. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, just as I had indicated, in our discussions, we shall look at about 5 questions today. In case you have a comment, just drop it. If you have a question, drop it. We will deal with it there and then. And the first question that we shall analyze is as to whether the Gen Z, that is the young people, will support Fred Okengo Matiang'i come 2027 general election. Of course, this question is significant politically speaking. This is due to the fact that if we go as to per regions or communities, Fred Okengo Matiang'i does not come from that very big community. But communities are in different ways. Young people, that is the Gen Z, can be a community on their own. If they entirely agree to support him all over the Republic of Kenya, it means that is a strong community that runs across various parts of the Republic of Kenya. But will this happen? The last opinion polls indicated that Fred Okengo Matiang'i was second after the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua, and he was followed by Maraga. Finally, the former vice president of the Republic of Kenya, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, this raises the question, what has happened? Why is it that? Because all of us know that the young people are the most in the Republic of Kenya. Actually, in our next elections, the young people will, I think, will be more than 60% of the registered voters, because as it looks, the young people this time are so much determined that they will register as voters. So what happened? What actually happened? Because I believe that InfoTrack, this company for opinion polls, in most cases they are objective. They are objective, and I know. But my question is, how does it come, or how does it happen that while most of us think that the young people are many, and the young people are solidly and strongly behind Fred Okengo Matiang'i, how does it come, or how does it happen that he is ranked second after Rigathi Gachagua? Probably, I just want to give my honest opinion why Rigathi Gachagua took position 1. One, Rigathi Gachagua has been in politics, we can say, for the last 2 years. And since Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, he has become more hostile because actually he's not happy of what happened to him. So he has to do all it takes to make sure he brings the regime that impeached him into checks. That is to ensure that there is checks and balances. But Fred Okengo Matiang'i was in USA for some time. That is, has been working with World Bank. I tend to see that if one can analyze properly the polls, one can argue that Fred Okengo Matiang'i became first because we all know that Okengo Matiang'i has not made electorates, has not been able to move from one county to another apart from the few places that we know. For example, he went to Amunyoro, he went to a funeral the other day, he went to his homecoming, and he went to Maasai Land for a day, and they postponed some of the rallies, meaning that even before him moving around the Republic of Kenya, he has been able to get some good percentage of those who were interviewed, because I can see there is a difference of 80%. Rigathi Gachagua taking 38, Matiang'i 30, and the Honorable Maraga taking or coming with 22, and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka coming up with 8. So if Matiang'i can get 30% minus moving around, because pollsters or those who carry out political studies will always go before you move around, and they will come back after you have made movements all over the Republic of Kenya and interview. In most cases, they interview the same people. I remember one time I just happened to be one of the respondents. I think that was before 2017, and they could meet me. I mean, they could call me, I think, after every 1 month. So that's why I say these pollsters, in most cases, with those companies that we have, are legit, unless once given the information they tamper with it, but which I think is not their objective. For them, they want to give the reality on the ground. So this raises the question, are the young people, the youth, with Fred Okengo Matiang'i? The answer, according to the pollster, is resoundingly yes. Because the truth be said, we know where Fred Okengo Matiang'i comes from. They cannot give him that percentage. It means there is that national perception or outlook. What happens if he gets time and moves all over the Republic of Kenya? Because he will. The second question that I wanted us to analyze is on why is it that Fred Okengo Matiang'i is remaining partyless, just like the Gen Zs? No, is it a common characteristic of, with the Gen Z? Why is he remaining partyless? Some people say that he's in UPA, United Progressive. I don't know, something to do with the alliance. Others say he's in Jubilee, but according to him, Matiang'i argues that he has no political party. Why is he remaining partyless? Is it that is he negotiating with the young people so that they together move from partyless to having a political party? Is he fearing to declare his party? It is a big issue because it will not be nice for him, for instance, when they say go to the coast and these politicians from various, these principles of various political parties, for instance, when they go to Mombasa, each principle will want to meet is grassroots leaders before they come together or before they move to a political rally. So how is he navigating without a political party? How is Fred Okengo Matiang'i navigating without a political party? How is he registering women rights, youth groups, representatives from various parts of the country without a political party? Which trick is this that him and the Gen Z have in common? That's why I feel that, yes, even if Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka may appear to be weak, even if Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka may appear to be weak, he may have structures all over the Republic of Kenya more than even Gachagua. And once you have structures all over the Republic of Kenya, it is easier for you to mobilize. Otherwise, it becomes extremely impossible to mobilize people when you go to a given area, because it means you will send some handouts ahead of you to mobilize people so that you will be seen to have a crowd. And a crowd is very important for politicians because of perception. People will see that, hey, we never knew that Fred Okengo Matiang'i or Rigathi Gachagua or even Sifuna has got support in Northeastern when they see a very big crowd. So the crowd is significant. For you to be funded, for people to fund your campaigns, the crowd must be seen. The crowd must talk. For people to become your sponsors, the crowd, people talking positive about you must be seen. I'm very sure now that Rigathi Gachagua and Fred Okengo Matiang'i are in USA, they are both having clips that they are showing to the Kenyans in the diaspora that you see, I have people. Probably what I'm lacking is something that will make me move from one place to another during the campaigns. And the Kenyan campaigns, as you know, they are very expensive. Of which is true. You know, the Kenyan campaigns, more especially when you are a presidential candidate, everyone, right from the members of parliament, those who are contesting it, from your political party and from your alliances, because today in Kenya you cannot just single-handedly win. You have to have alliances, because as we move forward, political parties are likely to be from a given regions. I mean, they will be having roots at specific regions. So for you to be together, for you to get into one basket, you must bring together your political parties. And that is not ethnic. That is not negative ethnicity. It is positive ethnicity. It is an ethnic idea, but not negative ethnicity. Another question that I wanted us to look at is whether the youth, the entire youth or Gen Z, will all support the opposition. Are these young people with the opposition? Who is looking for who? The truth be said, the young people will support you once you speak their language. Most of these politicians who are now in opposition, if they try to move against the wishes of these Gen Zs, they definitely become their enemies. You have seen even the church, even churches, when they receive donations, the young people immediately become or envy those who have benefited from those funds. So the young people will support you so long as you sing their song. And at this time, as it appears, these young people will wake up very early in the morning. They will wake up very early in the morning to vote and probably to protect their votes. If young people can come out, if they can decide to come out, actually for continuous 1 week to protest, what will stop them from voting and protecting the votes? What will stop the young people if they can demonstrate for 1 week without fear, actually walking between bullets, what will stop them? Who will stop them from voting and protecting the votes? That means if there will be free and fair elections, it will be in the year 2027, because they will receive a protection that has never happened elsewhere. And maybe I can ask this: what positions will you like people like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Fred Okengo Matiang'i, Rigathi Gachagua, and the young people, because they must come in. This time around, they will be seated on the high table. What positions will you advise them to take? Because this time, I'm very much sure that the young people are temporarily giving these positions to the aged, so that they see whether the coming regime will try to listen to their specific needs. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the areas that we carefully need to look to before we go to the next general elections. Pachuka Nyarieko TV talk show, the House of Ideas. Kindly, if in case you are watching this channel for the first time, subscribe, like, share, as well as give you a comment. I'll also ask this question. If you have an answer, you can just drop it on our comment section. Do you think the 2027 elections will be free and fair? Will they be free and fair? Despite the fact that I've been talking of the young people who are likely to take care of the votes come 2027, I see it to be very important if we can try to analyze what is likely to happen 2027. I'm asking that question because some people have been saying that those who have been put in those commissioners' positions are close to the administration. What should be done to ensure that? What should be done to ensure that there is no rigging of elections? What should be done to ensure that there is no rigging of elections? Simple and clear. You can go to any public institution in the Republic of Kenya. I mean, high school, universities, and other institutions. and ask the manner in which they release the examinations. I do not want to say how best this can be done, because the commissioners are paid to do that. If they ask us, we will contribute. If they cannot ask us the way forward, they will continue making the mistakes, and this time around the youth will be on them if they really make a mistake. So there are better ways with technology. There are better ways that this can be done. I already shared one of the best ways in which no one will need to go to Bomas of Kenya. Even the MCS, you will not need to go to the tallying center if that is implemented. I shared with about 3 members of parliament, and that can assist them. And I drew that from simply these examinations that we either mark or the results that we receive in our examinations, how it is done. The electoral process can also be done in that manner. And I want to reveal that why will it be necessary for one to go to, or one to rush from one polling station at night to another, that to collect the results? And we have IEPC agents, and we have each and every person is agent. The answer is simple. IEPC should come up with a formula whereby in every polling station, all of the contestants, those who are contesting in a given polling station, I mean in a given electoral area, say a ward, if there are 10 people, those the system should be connected, the IPC servers should be connected to these people, such that if the results are transmitted from from the polling station to IEPC, the results will go simultaneously, or it reaches the IPC and immediately goes to the phone of that specific contestant. That means the contestant will not need to be in each and every place. He will just get his results from the comfort of his room. And he will be able to know if there are 20 polling stations in a ward. He will be able to know that in a given ward the results have come out, and that sheet should be able to show him how each person has gotten in that particular polling station instantly. And if this person has issue, he will call at the polling station those who are there. They will tell him that is the true picture of what is taking place at the polling stations. He does not need to go to the tallying center. The same case should apply to presidential candidates. They should have their portal. If there are 9, they should have their portal, and that portal should directly be connected to their phones, such that if in any polling station all over the republic, once the results have been transmitted to IEBC, it does not stay at IEBC. It registered simultaneously sent to the phone, just like the way money is transferred. If IEBC can come up with such a portals, with such a system, how will one doubt them? Why will one go to Bomas of Kenya that is going to wait for foods? It should be a formality maybe for IEBC to make announcements, maybe the following day or after 2 days, but Kenyans should be knowing or should have known the results by 11 during the electoral day, because most of this polling, counting of votes begins from those of the president, and there is that number, I think 700 individuals within a polling station. So why should there be leaking of elections if the systems have been taken care of? This will make each and every person have a peace of mind, because what the Gen Z will take care of is only to ensure that the results have been transmitted, and the manner in which they are transmitted, they reach the candidate same time through his form, at the same time IEBC. So where will be the rigging if we have a listening IEBC? Do they want us to give them a leakage that is more than this? I think that should be taken into consideration. I also have another issue that we can look into. Now that there are so many issues in the Republic of Kenya, and we have to peacefully stay to 2027, what will you, as an individual, what will you tell William Samoei Ruto, who is asking Kenyans, what do you want me to do? What will you tell him? Drop a comment there. What will you tell him? William Samoei Ruto is asking, what do you want me to do now? What will you tell him? If I was to advise him, I tell him to sack or to constitute his government once again. I tell him to fight corruption, not selective fighting of corruption. You know, once you begin targeting maybe the members of opposition, that no longer fighting corruption. You just sit back, give resources to the agencies of fighting corruption, and complain from your office, from State House, why is it that there is corruption? Why is it that we have allocated funds to complete a given project and it has not been complete? You complain to the agencies because of the separation of powers. Otherwise, if you mingle with them, you carry their burdens. If you mingle with independent commissions, you carry their burdens. If you mingle with parliament, you carry their burdens. For example, the manner in which the National Assembly and the Senate are mingling with State House explains why all the troubles and problems are focusing on William Samoei Ruto. If I was to tell him, for him not to complain as he did today, is to ensure total separation of powers. Members of Parliament should do their work, because all of them are working, or their main aim is to work for the good, for the better of the country, but in a way that they are able to check one another. So when you take them, you put them in your basket, there will be no checking of one another. When you give them CDF, they will steal, and once they steal, they will not be able to check the government, because the government will tell them, okay, you want to say this, and let's go back to your books, and they will find that they have also stolen. That is why the framers of the Constitution did separate, did give the members of Parliament an opportunity to oversee the registration, expenditures, approval, that is. There are three main functions which they should do, but now because they want to be both the executive and the oversight, that's why there is total trouble. If I was to advise him, because he is asking what should I do, I'll tell him, allow the police to work independently. It is an independent commission. If they work independent, once they are found with the mistakes will not reach at you, they will carry their burden. A mistake will run at the State House. If I was also to advise him, I'll not tell him to listen now because he has listened enough. I'll tell him to implement. I'll tell him not to talk anymore, but to walk the talk, to implement. I will not have the CSS who do not know to implement, because implementation also is a talent. Implementation is at the same time a talent. You can have individuals who are very wonderful, even with academics, who are very wonderful in public speeches, in politics. They speak so well, so fluent, that when it comes to implementation of government policies, they instead end up singing Bado Mapambano, and the people want services. That is what I tell him. I will also tell him the young people will be on your neck today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, till they see developmental progress. I will also tell him to run to counties and ask them what they need in order to create employment opportunities. I will set a commission totally that will come up with ideas on employment opportunities. Because minus that, the government will not even be able to make new policies because they will always be rejected. The young people will always be looking on our way to reject any policies that the government will come out with or will come up with. Therefore, it is very important for the Samoei Ruto to look at that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking your time, for your support. Kindly, you can like our videos, you can subscribe to our channel, you can give your comment. Most importantly, give likes to this video. When you give a like, you support this channel in a very big manner. And of course it encourages one. It shows that at least our good people are listening. So my advice is that William Ruto should not just pretend to be listening. He should listen and act. Actually, there is no one in the Republic of Kenya who is wishing him anything bad, because people want to see progress. People are fighting because there is stagnant, and they will fight if the country continues to stuck in the same position, and that one you should know. Should therefore look for ways and means, not to look at what the opposition has better, but to make it better what he has. And everything should be geared towards improving the people's lives. And by improving people's lives, it means that people have to have something in their pockets. There another time, sometimes back, the current Prime Minister, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi said, people do not eat roads, which is true. And the government is looking on what is doing, or it is doing, it has to ensure that there is the current budget and the capital budget. Current is where, or this is a situation whereby there is money in circulation. There is even those vibaruas that people will do to earn, to at least get money, because it cannot just give out freely the manner the Honorable Kindiki's dancing from one place to another to give more than 100 people or more than 30 people 2,000. It should come up with policies or ways in which at least one can do some work and get something and feel comfortable. Not all people can join women groups and youth groups so as to ask for contributions. And this is where the Honorable Matiang'i comes in. The young people feel that when he was the CS for education, for example, this same young people had demonstrations all over, from one school to another, banning of schools, but they still remember Fred Okengo Matiang'i. There were theories that the banning of schools or the destruction of school properties were because of there was no leakages at many high schools. But why is it that if they were against Fred Okengo Matiang'i, they today want him? It is because they believe that if this man was able to prevent us from examination malpractices, what will he do if he becomes the chief statesman in the Republic of Kenya? So probably that's why the Gen Zs are thinking about Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Thank you so much for watching. Let's meet in our next episode. Thank you, and kindly you can subscribe if you are not a subscriber. Thank you, and have a pleasant night. Good night. Este kianga kilio mupira ngochi katema gosieka ringo chikatema gokora